you are on one string and one string only. All right? You don't recognize that there are any strings to the left or to the right of you. You are a sole string, and that's it. That's all that ever exists. There's nothing else. In reality, there are all these other strings. All right? And you are constantly moving back and forth between them based on your vibration. But the beauty of the third dimension is that you think that you're only on one. Now, we're going to take that analogy a step further. If you can understand that they're strings, really what they are points. All right? But when you get enough points close together, it gives you the illusion of a string. All right? Now, past, present, and future are all one. They're all going on concurrently. So what you envision to be a past life is another string. All right? It's all going on right now. So if you're just talking about this version of you, this life, there are infinite possibilities for you to experience. What you are doing in the third dimension is focusing your energy so intently that you think you're just on one string. And this is, before the break, what we started to talk about is that you stand in your full power when you're in the now. If you can think of it as this spotlight, and your energy is really focused, and that's all your energy in the now on this string. When you start thinking about the past, you start beating yourself up for not making a right decision in the past, or, oh, my past is really good and my future isn't so good now. You're longing for days of the past, or you're worried about the future. You're worried about other timelines. So what happens to this beam of light is that it now becomes diffused, and all the energy that's not being based on this string is being wasted because you are not focused there. You are only focused in the now. This is where your power lies. So it's really vital that you stay present, that you not get lost in the past or worrying about the future. Now, the past doesn't really exist from the vantage point of the now. As you choose a reality, there is an agreed-upon set of circumstances that create the now, or what you all agree to be the illusion that's the basis for the game. That in your past, this is what happened. You know, you had World War I, you had World War II, this is how it all played out. This was your past. This is what you all agree on is the basis for the game. All right? It's an illusion. Now, you're constantly moving back and forth between these different points based on your choices. So for those of you who are going on into the higher dimensions and the higher realms, while all of this drama goes on, there are certain things that you plug into that are part of the collective and other things that you don't need to because you may have integrated that aren't a big deal. So you put yourself on the string, which has an agreed-upon set of circumstances, but on a version where that doesn't have to be a primary focus, or where you don't need to experience it in its totality because you've already integrated the lesson. So you constantly move yourself back and forth on these strings. And there are some things that you share as far as a perspective and some things that are wholly and completely unique to you as an individual being, which is the beauty of the third dimension.
Interesting.
Because when you get in the higher realms, you're sharing all the perspectives.
Yes. Yes.
So we hope you all were able to kind of follow us there. But when we're talking about what's coming, where you're vibrating is going to determine which version, which string you're standing on. And you can have shared events and shared knowledge of a history, but there are also vibrational divisions. So that one way you can think about it is like a high-rise, and you've got all these different floors. Well, those are all dimensions. Now, collapse all the floors. That's what dimensional range is like, where you're sharing different frequencies. You are walking in and among it, but you are not of it.
Okay.
Right? You can see what's going on, but you don't have to play in it. You can see others. If you want to interact, you can, but you don't have to. And that's what it will be like as you're vibrating at a higher range. You'll see a lot of people going through drama and trauma, and you can interact with them. You can share your perspective. You're not necessarily dropping out of your own frequency range. In other words, you are not changing your belief system. You can connect with them and hold and maintain your frequency. It doesn't mean that you've got to drop out. All right, you can still project yourself down with a little bit of focus, but they can't see you. It would be like walking down the street and nobody noticing you because you're vibrating in a different range. And we can see down to you, but you can't see up to us unless you raise your frequency, and that's how it will be for others. So you can be aware that all these things are going on. And your recent earthquake is a good way to think about it. You know that it happened, and that was part of the agreed-upon set of circumstances, that you didn't have to be in the thick of it. You could be standing on the fringe and know that it was going on, and it could impact you in a different way. But it didn't have to be drama in your life.
You know, Mrs. P, one of the things that I was thinking about in regards to all of that was all of these natural disasters or these catastrophes or earth changes, however you wish to word that. The one thing that it has done in the positive is it has taken people all over the world coming together and to assist each other. There's just such an outpouring of people reaching out to assist all of these people through all of these things that has happened here in the past few months. It's amazing.
Yes, there's a lot of compassion that gets activated. There is also the potential for a lot of manipulation.
Sure.
So we just ask you all to be very mindful because some of these events are not natural. Some of them are man-made. There's been some interference with Mother Nature herself, and we don't want to focus on it too much tonight. We know it's a bit like opening a big can of worms.
Yes, that because actually that was really something that I really wanted to have a conversation with somebody about, Mrs. P, on my show. So maybe we'll have you come on and talk about that at another time. Obviously not tonight, because it really is. It could be a very lengthy conversation because I think it's important for people to be able to see or sense or somehow realize what's natural and what isn't.
Yes, and for most people, it's not going to matter. But look and see how you're being activated and what you're being asked to do, how you're kind of being herded or shepherded, laws that are being passed, or new things that are coming about as a result of some of these catastrophes. And that's what you need to be aware of. And we don't want you to have fear,
right?
But we want you to use discernment.
Absolutely.
We know that often you want to be compassionate, you want to give help, but look at who you're giving help to.
Sure.
Where is it going? How is it being utilized? Because there are a lot of organizations and old vibrations, old paradigms that you are often contributing to. Although you want to do good, you are still working through the third dimensional form of giving money. And you're playing into that old system as opposed to working with the new way of operating, which is through the energetic. You've been so conditioned to think that that is ineffectual, that is,
sure,
it's not enough. But as you check in and as you pulse out compassion and love, and you focus on those beings, remember, every being that experienced a natural catastrophe